welcome back to my channel. In this video, I am doing a stationery haul of some things that I picked up over the last few weeks. This wasn't a one-time haul. I did purchase some of the items separately and it took a couple of weeks for them to all get here. And I will also be reviewing the Dingbats Earth Dotted Journal. Let's get started with the Tombow Twin-Tone Pastels. These are dual tip markers by Tombow. I initially really wanted the dual brush pens. It has been on my wish list for probably over a year. It is a pastel palette, so I thought it would be pretty similar to the Tombow dual brush pens, but it's completely different. These pens have a double side, so that's why they are called dual tip. One of the tips is a very, very thin marker pen, and the other side is a medium size marker. I will be swatching them in my Dingbats Earth Dotted Journal just to show you the different colors and also have a reference guide for myself as well. All of the colors are really beautiful. Because I was expecting something like the dual brush pen and I had that kind of use in my mind, I initially thought that I wouldn't use these markers as much as I would with the dual brush pens because I was expecting to do accent colors with the dual brush pens. But I did find some uses for them and I think they can be a great addition to your notebook. And as you'll see, they don't really bleed through to the back side. There is a bit of shadowing with this paper. I think these are useful if you like to add a bit of color when you are bullet journaling. I like to write certain events or holidays with these markers to make them pop a little bit more. I usually use a black pen to write everything, so these markers allow me to be able to pick out all of those special events and special moments that I need to pay attention to. Another thing you can use them for is doodling. If you're somebody who likes to doodle, these are great to add a pop of color with your doodles. I also like to use them in other things like my trackers. Instead of a black marker, it adds a bit of a special touch, a bit of color, and because they come in medium and very fine tips, you can use them in a lot of different things. So if those are things that you like to do with your bullet journaling, I highly recommend these as an addition to your stationery. The next item I will be talking about is the dual brush pens by Tombow in the pastel palette. This is a staple among a lot of bullet journalists. It is a great palette for accent colors, especially if you don't like very vibrant colors and you want your bullet journal to be more subdued, or it could be good for coloring in your designs as well. I have been using my Crayola Super Tips for the last 3 years that I've been doing bullet journaling, and they have been really good. I think you get about 50 colors for $10 or something really cheap like that. So it's a really great place to start if you are just starting off in bullet journaling. They give you so many color options to start off with, so you can try it out without breaking the bank. If you were to get this in the Tombow dual brush pens, initially all of these 50 colors, I think it would cost you a couple $100. So this is a really great set to buy initially, and I still use them. The colors that you get in the set are gorgeous. They're perfect for bullet journaling, I think. Some of them are more vibrant. There's a few colors that are in here that I am planning to use for future monthly setups, and that initially was what attracted me to the pastel kit as well, because I will be using some of these colors in the future, guaranteed. And another thing I want to talk about is the N00. This is a colorless one. There's a lot of cool things that you can do with this, like you can dip it in another color and get a lighter color version of that color, or you can get gradient colors. The initial purpose of this marker is to mix different colors in if you're doing some sort of watercolor painting or watercolor drawing. But I'm super excited to use these in my upcoming setups. The next thing I picked up is these washi tapes. I haven't used a lot of washi tape in the past, but I wanted to give it a try, and I did use a similar one in a previous monthly setup. But these are very beautiful washi tapes with gold accent colors, and I think they represent the seasons. These are actually just off of Amazon. You can also get them on AliExpress for much cheaper. I think they even have the exact same ones on AliExpress, but it does take a lot longer to ship, so I just wanted to give them a try. To me, they kind of look like they represent the seasons a little bit, so I might use them with the appropriate seasons. For example, the orange brown one feels like fall to me, the pink one feels like spring, and so on and so forth. So they're very cute, and I'm looking forward to use those. The next two items are I'm gonna butcher this, Sakura jelly rolls and Pigma professional brush pens. Yeah, pens. So they both come in 3 different sizes. Obviously they're completely different things. Here we have the Sakura Pigma professional brush pens. This comes in fine, medium, and bold. These are very similar to the Fudonosuke by Tombow, which I've been using for 3 years to do calligraphy and all kinds of writing that I do. So I wanted to try these and see if they're similar or better or worse, and so far I do like them. They seem to be pretty similar to the Fudonosuke. I do like that they have different sizes, so I can maybe expand how I use calligraphy in my bullet journal and be able to use different sizes for different purposes. Next is the Sakura jelly rolls. These also come in fine, medium, and bold. The sizes are written on the side as 05, 08, and 10. I have been using my Uniball white gel pen for many years, and I do like it. I believe it's a little dry now, and I wanted to try these ones, and I like that it comes in 3 different sizes for 3 different purposes. The fine is extremely fine, and that makes the color very faint. You can use it to add a bit of highlight to certain things, but don't expect it to be very bright. The medium size is pretty good as well. I do use it when the large one, which is my favorite, is too large for a design. But my favorite is a large one. It gives you the boldest white color. It can pretty much write over anything and look pretty opaque. Last but not least, I will be talking about this notebook, which you have been seeing throughout the video. This is the Dingbats Earth Dotted Notebook. I believe it came out last year. It is a size A5, and the color I chose is sky blue to represent the Great Barrier Reefs. This notebook features a durable hardcover bound with faux leather, 100 GSM cream pages. It has an inner pocket and 2 bookmarks. It's also 192 pages, which does lay flat, and does have an elastic closure and a pen holder on the side. The pages are numbered. There's also 3 index pages at the front, including 2 key pages and 16 micro perforated pages. If you do buy it from the UK, they will actually donate 2% of the revenue of these notebooks to the WWF UK. Unfortunately, this is not extended to the USA and Canada where I am, but it's still a great initiative to donate some of the money or some of the revenue to a charity. I hope in the future they do extend this to the US and Canada and perhaps other countries where you will be purchasing this notebook. So let's get started with my review of this book. I have been using it for several weeks now. I really like the design of this. It has this beautiful pearlescent sky blue color. It has an engraving of the reefs and some marine animals. When you open up the inside, you have this infographic about the Great Barrier Reef. There's also some cute designs on the back of marine animals. It's a nice journal with numbered pages, which I appreciate, and it does have an index and even a few pages of the future log. The Earth collection does come with 3 different colors. The other colors are Tangerine and Lime. Previously, I have used exclusively the Scribbles That Matter journal, which I was very, very happy with, but I wanted to try something different, so that's why I decided to go with the Dingbats. I read that it is pretty similar to Scribbles That Matter, which I like, and I really like the design, so I wanted to give it a try. The one thing that I don't like off the bat, but it is the color. It is a creamy yellow color, much darker than I personally would prefer. This is my preference. I think for me, it is yellower than I'd like. I do appreciate that the dots are fainter than the Dingbats one. Here it is compared to a white blank sheet of paper. So the Scribbles That Matter isn't completely white either. It does have a yellow tint, which is actually good for your eyes. White paper is more straining to the eyes, so it is better to use a slightly yellow paper. It is easier on your eyes, so I appreciate that. That's why I prefer the Scribbles That Matter notebook in terms of color. Overall, the design is very beautiful. I really, really like the design. The pearlescent sky blue color is very refreshing and calm. It holds its shape really well. It's very blocky and structured and thin right now. The accent colors are beautiful as well. The bookmarks are great. One is the same sky blue in this shiny, I believe like a satin ribbon, and the other one's black, and they're fairly long. The pen holder still has the same problem as the Scribbles That Matter. It looks like it's gonna separate pretty quickly. It has the usual stuff like the pocket. It comes with a little booklet as well. Now, one thing I am kind of torn on. It is the coating on the paper. So there appears to be a thicker coating on the paper. I don't know too much about paper, but I do notice that the coating, there's a more coating, I'm not sure, which is good and bad. I will explain. So basically it's a smoother paper, your pen glides on it, there isn't much friction or tug, and the paper seems to be more waterproof than the one that I'm used to on the Scribbles That Matter. And what I mean by this is when you are coloring in designs, it takes a lot more for your markers to bleed through. So here I did my May monthly cover page, and I feel like I was able to get away with way more than I would be able to get away with on the Scribbles That Matter when I was coloring in with the markers. I feel like I had a lot of freedom to color, and I felt like there was less streaking when I was coloring in certain things. For example, these parts on the quote, the flags that I did, when I colored these in, from what I'm used to on the Scribbles That Matter, I would get a lot of streaking. And in this notebook, I got minimal if no streaking, which is really, really, really nice. And I'll show you what I mean by streaking. This is my habit tracker from February. And as you can see, I tried to color in these boxes with my green marker. And anytime I overlapped over another spot, you will see a darker color. And when I try to go over the spots with a lot of color, you can still see a lot of streaking. And this is normal, it's fine, but it looks much better in the Dingbats. Here you can see on these macarons, when I color them in, you can see my brush strokes or marker strokes. But in the Dingbats, even though I went over these parts many, many times, it looks pretty smooth. Again, with the yellow, I went over these spots and overlapped them, and you don't see much streaking. And this lets you get away with doing pages like this, where you go in and color to your heart's desire. It looks smooth and vibrant, and of course you can get streaking if you go over the spots, but again, you can use that to your advantage. If you want to add some shadows, you can let the marker dry a little bit and then do another coat on top of it where you want the shadows. And this sounds all great, and it's a great advantage of this notebook. However, it does have its downside. And that is that because this paper is so smooth and silky and coated, it does take it a longer time to dry. This is the pen that I write with the most, which is the Muji pen. I think it might be certain pens that are causing this problem. It takes a while for it to dry, and if I touch it by accident, swipe at it, it smudges right away. And as you'll see, I have a lot of smudges in my weekly setups. And I found also that when I move on to the next page and I started writing there, you would expect the previous week to be completely dry. It's been about a week. But I still get transfer over, which causes smudges on the previous page, which is kind of annoying. And I found that it sometimes takes 10 to 15 minutes for it to fully dry, and I can't even close my book until it's been 10 to 15 minutes. So that's the downside of this super silky coated paper. If you're somebody who likes to draw a lot, color in different designs and artwork and doodles, then you might really appreciate this paper and this journal because it really lets you get away with coloring large areas without looking streaky and giving you an even wash of color, which looks really, really great. But if you think this smudginess and this long time to dry is gonna annoy you, you might want to pass up on this journal. As you can see, even after 5 minutes, it's still smudging, which is very unusual. And it's still kind of transferring onto another piece of paper. So I tried it with the Pigma Micron pen or marker, and it appears that the smudging is lessened by quite a lot. As you can see, the smudging from 5 minutes ago with the Muji pen is way worse than 1 minute ago with the Micron pen. So I will try the Big Pro Plus as well. So I don't need to go further. A ballpoint pen seems to be pretty resilient to the smudging. The worst offender is the Muji gel pen. So if you do use gel pens, this might be a disadvantage for you. But if you do use the Micron pen or just a ballpoint pen, it shouldn't be a problem. So I might actually stop using the Muji pen in this journal, which I do love to use. That's something to think about. That's something to consider when purchasing or thinking of purchasing this journal. So the pros of this journal are the great design, the numbered pages, the dots are much fainter than other journals, and the ability to color in your pages and not worry about streaking and having great artwork in there. I haven't tried paints or watercolors yet. I did try acrylic paints in my last month's setup and it didn't cause bleed through. But you might run into the issue of your pen not drying. If you don't really care about a certain marker or pen or gel pen that you use, or you can switch it up, this shouldn't be a problem for you. The other downside is the yellow paper. At the moment, I'm not a huge fan. It's very yellow, and I feel like when I draw designs that are meant to be white, I have a need to color them in white, and I found acrylic white paint to be useful in this case. That's something to consider as well. So there you have it. That's my stationery haul and my review of some of the products that I purchased. If you like this video, please give me a thumbs up. It makes such a difference. And if you like my videos, please consider subscribing to my channel. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!